Hi, today we're going to make Veggie Bites. This is a nice way to use some vegetables, get your greens, get your vitamins, minerals that you need to do. So to begin with, we need to preheat the oven to 450 degrees. So that's what I'm going to do first. Then the next step is to take melted butter, and it's a 1/3 cup of melted butter. So I'm going to, I have that in a bowl, and I will put that in the microwave to melt it. And I always cover my butter with waxed paper, because butter likes to spatter all over while it's melting. So I'll put it in the microwave for maybe about 30 seconds. I'll check it to make sure it's, I don't want it to cook too long. Okay, so while that is melting, you need a bowl for flour and salt, a bowl for your egg and water mixture. It calls for 2 teaspoons of water, so I'm going to get some water. And sounds like my butter's done. Not quite. I'll give it about 15 more seconds just to look at it. And I'll take 1 egg. You're going to break the egg in the bowl. This is the bowl with the water in it. Okay, so that was about 45 seconds. And it says to take and use a pastry brush, and you're going to brush about a tablespoon on the bottom of this, of a 9 by 13 pan. So it's a rectangle pan, and just brush some of that butter in the bottom. So the pan is ready. I'm going to mix with a fork the egg and water mixture. So you beat that up. Get that mixed. I already have the salt and flour together, so I'll mix that. And you're going to be coating your vegetables in the egg and water mixture and then into the flour mixture. So it's dip in one and then dip in the other. And it calls for some flowerettes, so we want these to be in smaller pieces. So just take and cut little pieces about like this. You don't want them too big because you're going to want these to bake. So this is cauliflower. It's the white stuff. And you want about 2 cups of this. This is not an exact amount. You just cut pieces away. Get most of the stem off. You don't want a lot of stem on this one. And you'll do the same for the broccoli. You'll cut these up into small flowerettes is what it's called. And that's just getting the small pieces separated from the rest of the head of flour, or head of the cauliflower, not flour, but cauliflower. And we'll mix these up. We're not going to keep the broccoli and the cauliflower separate. And I'm just using a small paring knife, not a big one. I have a French chef's knife here just in case I needed it, but I really don't, because I'm just making small little pieces here. What will happen to these is once you put them in your baking pan, you'll put them in the oven to bake, and the butter will mixed with the flour, and it forms a nice coating. So I did get a measuring cup, and this is, like I said, this is not an exact amount. So it's not like you have to be real careful with the measuring. My oven just told me it was ready. So you're going to just cut these into small pieces, and you may want 2 cups, you may want a little bit less, maybe a little more. It just depends. So we'll just, I think this will be as much cauliflower as I'm going to put in. That's about a cup. And I have a 2-cup measuring cup here. And then I'll just cut some of these flowers off of the broccoli. And I did wash this first, clean it nice so it's nice and clean. And just cut little pieces, little strips. And this makes nice colorful little addition. The white and the green. And you're getting the tender parts of these, not the stems, which tend to be a little bit tougher. So these will be nice and tender and pretty tasty. The salt and the flour gives it just enough flavoring. And you don't have to do a lot to it. Okay, so there's our broccoli and the cauliflower, and what you'll do is put this in the egg mixture and move it around so it gets coated with the egg and water mixture. And then we will take and put it into the flour. And the egg and water is what's going to hold the flour onto these vegetables. So I'm going to put them in here. And your recipe said you can either use a slotted spoon, your fingers, or a fork. So right now I'm working with a fork, and I may not keep you work. You know, it's whatever works. Right now, the fork works pretty good that way, but I'm going to take them out and place them in the baking pan with my fingers. That seems to work just a little better to get them out, because I don't want too much flour in the baking pan, and if I used a fork or something else I would get too much flour. But I do want all my vegetable pieces, so put those in there. Okay, and then I'm going to add another batch. Stir them up good so they get coated and mixed. So one person can be coating with the egg mixture, and another person can be coating with the flour mixture. You can have a little assembly line going here. And then somebody else can be arranging them in the baking dish. While somebody else, to start out with, is cutting them up into little flowerets. We want to spread these out so they're not right on top of each other. And I think that's put in the last of the veggies here. These really are quite good. When they're done, they're kind of crispy, coated. Not quite like deep fried veggies, but a crispy coating. So, and I think I took up most of my egg here. There's a little bit left. It's kind of a messy lab, so you're going to have to really clean good after you get done. That's always the fun part, is cleaning up. Okay, so once we get them coated, and lay them out in the baking dish. And that amount of vegetables pretty well coats the bottom of this pan, this baking dish. So you really wouldn't want any more than that in this one. Okay, so there's that. And then we're just going to drizzle the rest of the butter over the top. And we want to use all the butter. But make sure you drizzle it and get everything coated. You want it all coated because this helps make kind of a crispy crust on it. So that's there. And I need to clean my hands off and then I can put it in the oven. Okay, these are ready to go into the oven. And I'll set the timer for 10 minutes. And in halfway through the baking time, I'm going to take and turn them. So that's something you need to do. But I'm going to set it for 10. In about 5 minutes, I will go back and I will turn them over so that they brown and get crispy on both sides. Okay, this is done now, and I did bake them for 12 minutes. And you can really smell them. They smell great. And I turned them, and they're just, when I pull them out, you'll be able to see that they're just lightly turning brown, just lightly brown. And that's how you want them. Now the other thing you can do with them is to sprinkle grated Parmesan cheese on top. If that's something you would like to do, you may do that. If not, you don't have to. So this is the Veggie Bites. Nice little, it's a different way to eat your veggies.